Kia ora koutou, my name's Bobby MacDonald and I am from Onehunga. I was born and raised in Tamaki, and in my early stages of life, I moved down to Aotearoa and spent about 4 or 5 years down there with my mother, and then moved back up to Tamaki. And I was raised most of my life by my dad's side of the whānau, with my grandmother and my grandfather, yeah, over in Māngere Bridge. So bridge boy for life. I first started making art for my my family, so they'd always want like portraits done, especially for birthdays. So I got into, I was always into acrylics, and then got into oil painting, and had a little tutu around with that. I remember my first oil painting portrait that I did was of Bone Thugs and Harmony. My artwork at the moment is really inspired by my culture, being Māori, and I'm learning a lot about my whakapapa and where I come from. Throughout my whole life, I've been born and raised in Tamaki, especially with my family. It was all about, you know, work hard, provide for the family, and the culture kind of come next. So we really dabbled in our culture. It wasn't really learn the culture first. So it wasn't until, you know, I started doing murals and I wanted to tell other people's stories and the awesome mahi that they're doing in their own communities. It wasn't till then that I had to kind of look in the mirror and say, instead of telling other people's stories, I need to learn more about my own story first. Throughout my whole life doing art, just personally, I found like I didn't really have an identity. Looking at a lot of amazing artists, especially New Zealand artists, they've got their own style and they've got their own flow, and that kind of puts their identity at front. So when you see their style or when you see their flow, you know automatically, oh, that's, you know, that's this artist. Yeah. And throughout my life, I kind of struggled in that realm. It took me right back to learning my own story. I'd love to dabble in lots of different types of mediums. So worked with watercolor as well. And it wasn't until at a later stage, I got into spray painting. Kind of dabbled around in tagging and stuff and bombing, but mainly on books. I dabbled in, you know, painting, drawing. I loved digital art as well, design, photography. Yeah, so even body painting, I dabbled in that as well and won a couple of competitions. So yeah, I'm pretty much the tutu of creative arts. So at the moment, I've moved back up to the Hokianga. That's where my whānau's from. And I am working in a kura up there. At the moment, I'm working on a project called Ngā Atua Hou, and it's like a 10-year plus project, but it talks about the young wahine toa, or the young tāne toa, doing big things in their own community that's making a difference. And it's telling their story, but at the same time, it's a way to tell the stories of our atua and tell both of their stories in a public space on a wall. Another project or kaupapa that falls under Ngā Atua Hou is a leadership program that we run inside schools as well. Before I started painting outdoor murals, I was working for a signage company, a small signage company. I worked for them for about 5 years, and then a lot of my family and friends were asking, you know, why aren't you out there doing your own thing? Yeah, so I made the jump. It was hard, you know, providing for the family, to actually jump out of full-time work and start my own thing. But I landed this awesome contract that helped me pick up my skills in mural painting. Yeah, I was painting in daycares for about two or 3 years, and that built up my skills in using spray cans. And then I thought, you know, I want to do bigger walls. At the time, I was looking for space to create artwork because I had no space at home. There was this wall just down the road in Onehunga that I really wanted to paint on. At the same time, I walked into this space called the 312 Hub and found out that it was a youth hub directly for young artists, and just walked into the most perfect space. The person that runs the space, Amelia Puia Taylor, she said, oh yeah, I'll help you with, you know, getting that wall and space if you could help me with the hub. And I'm still here at the hub. I brought all my signage equipment here to teach the young ones how to do signage, and got the wall just down the road, and from that showed the community what I could do, and got a couple of other projects after that. So yeah, everything worked perfectly. In the summer, I turned like 15 shades of this darker. I love the fresh air. I love inspiring other people, especially artists. I love interacting with the public as well. And it's a way for me to tell my story and to get other people inspired as well. Encouraging and inspiring the young ones that are there in the community. I know that there's a lot of talent that can be, you know, unboxed just by a little bit of inspiration. I feel that's what I bring.